Welcome, students. My name is Dr. Michael Hale. I'm an English professor at Santa Rosa Junior College. The purpose of this webcast today is to teach you two basic things. One is a template on how to communicate with your professor in a professional manner. The second is a kind of basic student know your rights. If you feel that you are in a conflict with your professor or you're not getting any feedback on issues that you're emailing about, there is a process that you can use in order to try to get resolution to that conflict. Everything I'm about to teach you today is meant to be an amplification of what a web webinar that I did with the Welcome and Connect Center back on April 8th, in which somewhere around 40 students gathered together and we did a webcast with this. So this is a shortened version of that webinar. Let me just pause for a minute and invite you to attend future webinars from the Welcome and Connect Center. I'm on their website right now. You can see that on my screen. It's welcome.santarosa.edu. This is the best space to connect with peer coaches, students that are in your same age group and perhaps studying your same major, in order to get advice on how to proceed through kind of difficult challenges or obstacles at the college. This is a new space and something that I'm very proud to be affiliated with and to support. Now on to the first part of our webinar, which is how to structure a professional email to your professor. This is just basic business communication 101. I want to preface these comments by saying there's no magic formula here. I am giving you a template, but the template is flexible. And it's not a magic formula in that it might not work, right? So you could use everything that I'm about to teach you, and you could do it perfectly, and you can still not get a resolution to your problem, to your question, or to your concern. This is just a kind of best practice to enable you to get results and resolution of whatever problem that you're having. Okay, let's begin. The first thing that you have to do in an email is identify who you're speaking with. So, hello, professor, and then fill in their last name, and please spell it correctly. Uh, every web every professor has a website at SRJC, so you can look that up very easily. It would also be in your syllabus. They take this very seriously, so please note um, and if they're a PhD, please call them doctor. If you don't know, just call them professor. People like to be acknowledged from the hard work that they've done to become a professor. So hello, Professor Hale, for example, in my instance. Okay, then a comma. I hope this email finds you and your family well. You need some sort of nicety. This is obviously a kind of traditional form of communication. Not every professor likes this, but many do, particularly traditional professors. So some sort of nicety. It doesn't have to be this sentence. It could be something similar. Then you have to move on to identifying who you are. Any given professor has dozens, if not hundreds, of students, and it is very difficult to remember every single person's name. So you have to say, my name is, and then fill in your full name, your first and your last name. And then you have to identify what class you're in, and then the time that that class meets. So, for example, I am in your English 1A class that meets on Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 11, right? Most professors teach the same class multiple times of the week, and so it is important to identify your name, your class, and the time that it meets. Then you get into the heart of your communication. I have a question or concern about, and then be very specific with what your question or concern is right here. This is where you need to kind of fill in exactly what you're trying to get the answer to of whatever your problem is or whatever your concern is or whatever your question is. Then you have to identify that you have attempted to look up the answer. I've looked in the syllabus, I've looked at my class notes, I've looked online, and I still cannot find the answer. This ensures that your professor knows that you are trying to solve the problem, and they won't, and then therefore it is not as easy to dismiss you. I am asking you to, and then you have to be specific what exactly you want them to solve. What do you want them to do, right, in order to solve this problem? And then lastly, I feel that it is important to communicate with your professor what your particular dream is. This is to humanize you, to connect with your professor on a very real level. So if your dream is to be an engineer or a doctor or a vet tech or a teacher, please communicate with them. If this will help humanize you and help increase the professor's empathy for you, hopefully. Not always, but there's a good chance. Thank you so much for your help. You always want to thank a professor. They sometimes get dozens, if not over 50 emails in a day. They're responding to a lot of communication. So thank them for your time. And then close the letter sincerely or some sort of, you know, ending remark, and then again with your full name. So this is the basics, the basic template of how to communicate to your professor in an email asking a question or stating a concern. Okay, so I've given you the basics. Let's move on to our next template, and let's talk about asking for an extension. This is an important issue that's come up quite a lot during this crisis. People are feeling stressed, people are having to work more, or people are dealing with kind of chaotic home environments, and deadlines are adding pressure and anxiety, and sometimes they're being missed. So, what do you do to communicate to a professor that you need an extension in the most professional format? All of this basically remains the same from what I told you above. Here's where we'll get into the heart of the asking for an extension. I am asking for an extension on the upcoming assignment. State this assignment exactly. Essay 3 or Lab Notes 4 or whatever the specific title of the assignment is. I am currently going through a lot right now, as I am sure you are as well. Always connect to their sense of struggle as well. Professors have their own lives, their own turmoil, their own complicated home environments. Here's where you want to explain your situation. Keep it brief. You don't need a lot of lurid details, but focus on building empathy in your instructor's mind. Okay. Then you need to communicate that you know their policy about late work, okay? And here's where you need the reversal, right? The but or however, I believe the times we are living through merits an exception. I've worked hard all semester and I need a little bit more time, okay? Or if you have not worked hard all semester, you need to admit that. I know I have not been the best student this semester, but these recent events have really woken me up. Briefly explain how they've woken you up, okay? And I really want to pass this course. Again, connect your professor to your dream to try to build empathy. Thank you for your consideration. Always state this. It is ultimately their decision as to whether to grant the extension or not. So you are asking for their consideration of your request. And then sincerely in your full name. Okay, we have now covered two scenarios in communication with your professor. One is if you have a question. Two is if you are asking for an extension. Let's move on to a kind of student know your rights. Every single student has the right, if you feel that there is a conflict with your professor or you are not receiving an answer to your email, has the ability to go to the department chair. The Welcome and Connect Center at welcome.santarosa.edu can provide you with a list of all of the department chairs for all of the departments on campus. So reach out to them if you do not know the department chair of your specific department. It is important first to try to communicate with the professor in your class. Make at least 2 email attempts and wait at least 2 days in each instance before you escalate this in a grievance process to the department chair. So do not move too quickly to the chair. Let the process work. A lot of people are going through a lot of complicated times right now, and so it is important to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when you are asking yourself for the benefit of the doubt. Okay, This works exactly the same as the first two letters that I showed you. Here's where the heart of the letter comes in. I need your help resolving a conflict I'm having with Professor, for example, last name Hale. I feel like I have not been given clear instructions on how class is moving forward, or whatever issue with the conflict that you're having. That just happens to be the most common grievance that we've heard in the Welcome and Connect Center in the last 3 weeks. So that's the one I used as an example, but please use your own issue right there. Again, state how you have tried to resolve the problem. State clearly that you have tried at least twice and fill in the dates of when you emailed them. Just go back in your sent mail folder in your email program to get the dates of when you can try to communicate with your professor. And then tell them I still have not received a satisfactory answer. Tell the department chair I have every intention of completing and passing this course, but I need clear instructions, and then be specific on what you need help with. What do you need the department chair to do in order to resolve this problem? And then let them know that you'd be happy to forward the emails that you sent your professor. And then say, I look forward to reading your reply. Always try to get a grievance process in writing, okay? And so ask for a reply to the email. Let's say the department chair does not respond to you or does not give you an answer that is satisfactory to you. You have the right to go to the dean of the cluster of departments. So every professor has a department chair, every department chair has a dean. Okay, and again, the Welcome and Connect Center can connect you to a document that will give you a list of the deans for all the clusters on campus. Again, it works the same way as the above three letters. And here is the heart of the matter. You are asking for a resolution of a conflict with a professor. You've emailed the professor on 2 different dates, and you've emailed the department chair on 2 different dates. Okay? This is where you are at, what you are asking for, same as above, that you will be happy to forward the emails with the professor and the department chair, and that you look forward to reading their reply sincerely, and then your name. If you have not received um, a satisfactory response from this, you have one more option, and that is to go to the Dean of Student Life, who's named Robert Ethington with an E. So you go to studentlife.santarosa.edu and you fill in a grievance form that allows you a hearing that where you bring all of the emails that you've communicated with a professor, with a department chair, with the dean, and that there is a kind of set of officials that review this in a nonpartisan and objective way in order to try to resolve this conflict that you have. This concludes my brief introduction into the basics of how to communicate with your professor, with the department chair or the dean, and a basic student know your rights. You can contact me, Dr. Michael Hale, at mhale, that's Hale, at santarosa.edu. That's mhale, Hale, at santarosa.edu. And let me further one more time encourage you to make an appointment with a peer coach at the Welcome and Connect Center at welcome.santarosa.edu. That is your best bet to learn the complicated process of communication on a college campus. It is perhaps that you're a first-time student, or you're a first-generation college student, or you've been away from college for some time, and this is just all a very confusing world. So the Welcome and Connect Center is your best bet in order to try to navigate these complicated waters and try to overcome a variety of obstacles. Not only are you capable of success, you are worthy of success. And we are here to help you achieve your dreams. Thank you for listening and have a healthy and safe week.